Hi, I am Vikas Hassan, your instructor for the ultimate guide to hacking IELTS. And I am absolutely thrilled for you to start your journey of nailing IELTS, moving abroad, getting admissions, and whatever the reason you want it for. You know, I have spent so much time in dissecting this big monster, this IELTS, and simplifying it for you. You see, English language is a vast language. IELTS is what, like 0.1% of English language? So why should we study the entire English language when all we need is to ace the skill of IELTS? In this course, you're going to find all 4 sections: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And the way I've structured this is that I first give you the fundamental hacks that will form the building blocks, and then I'll give you the smart strategies, tips, live demos on how to apply them, live demos of speaking questions and interview practices, live demos of writing, and basically everything else. I graduated as a gold medalist from National University of Singapore, and I got 8.5 band in my IELTS in my first attempt, and I was not a native English speaker. I learned English the way I have taught in this. I learned the skill of IELTS the way I've taught in this. I've held nothing back. I have given you every single thing, every single strategy and hack that I first applied for myself, then my pilot students, and now in the past 2 years, about more than 1,000 students. In part 2, you'll be given one topic and 1 minute to prepare. And on the topic card, you'll be given 3 to 4 prompts to include in your speech. Prompts are bullet points that you have to answer. Think of them as those. You will then speak for a minimum of 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes. Examiner will stop you once you have reached 2 minutes. Or you can just stop yourself anytime after 1 minute saying, "That's it." Just say that. That's it. If you have given a fluent response for more than 1 minute and stopped at, let's say, 1.5 minutes, that's still better than hesitating and a non-fluent response of 2 minutes. So don't think you have to hit 2 minutes. 1.5 minutes is good enough. But be structured. And we'll get to that shortly. By the end of part 2, your examiner has a rough idea of what your band score is going to be. So this is an important one. Let's see some things to note. You don't necessarily have to limit your answer to only prompts, but it's much easier to only speak around the prompts. So I'm going to prepare you to only speak around the prompts. If your answer is longer than 2 minutes, the examiner will stop you and move on to the next question. And that is not a bad thing. In fact, that happened with me as well. In my interview, I did not stop at 2 minutes. Examiner had to stop me. However, if you can stop between 1.5 to 2 minutes yourself after giving a great answer, then that reflects better on your ability to plan and speak in a structured way. You know what? That's where I lost my mark as well. Because I, in my actual test, did not structure it well, but still got higher than 8. So yeah, you have room for that. Lastly, you can't ask questions in part 2. You can't ask to change the topic. You must use the topic given to you and try your best to speak something related to that topic. And we'll get to it. How do you plan for that? For that, by using what I call Part 2 Subhacks. I'm going to give you 3 subhacks. These are the subhacks that you're going to use to ace the Part 2. Subhack number 1. Answer each prompt for 30 seconds. You're going to treat it as writing task 1. Remember the letter where you have a topic and 3 to 4 bullet points? And I trained you to only answer those 3 bullet points, and you were done with your 150 words. In here, in the speaking, all you have to do is speak for each of these prompts for 30 seconds. And how much is 30 seconds? Just 2 to 3 sentences. That's it. So you see, instead of looking at one topic as a block that you have to speak for 2 minutes, you're going to look at your topic as 3 to 4 questions that you're going to answer in 2 to 3 sentences. You're not going to look at this round as speaking for 2 minutes on an unknown topic. Just looking at this round as answering 4 questions in 2 to 3 sentences. When you're given 1 minute to prepare for your answer, you're going to use that 1 minute to quickly write 1 to 2 sentences for each of the 4 prompts on the card. That's it. Very simple, very structured. Your sub-hack number 2 is invent details. The best way to pass time while speaking is to keep inventing details, artificial details, around your description. For example, a topic asks you to describe a wedding function in your family. My first thought is, in my recent memory, I really enjoyed my brother's wedding. All right, so this is my one-line plan. In my recent memory, I really enjoyed my brother's wedding. But now I'm going to keep inventing details around it. So if I keep inventing details around it, it will become something like, in my recent memory, I really enjoyed my eldest brother's wedding, which took place about 6 months ago at my hometown in southern Australia. So you see, instead of just brother, I've said eldest brother, then I've given it some form of time period, 6 months, 3 months, then I've given it a location. So you start with your answer and you keep inventing details as you go on answering it. And that is my sub-hack number 2 for you. You'll answer each of the questions in sub-hack 1, and in sub-hack 2, you'll keep inventing details around this one small line that you're going to answer. And sub-hack 3 is to add a personal story. Adding in a personal story is the best way to spend 30 to 60 seconds quickly. Understand that it's very difficult to speak on a topic, but it's very easy to tell someone your story. Think of it in your own language when you're talking to your friends or family members. The moment you start telling a story, let's say of the night at 2 a.m. when you went to have these pizza kebabs somewhere and the place was crowded, you'll keep telling a story, and because you're telling the story, the time will pass by so quickly you won't even realize. So continuing from the previous example, let's see how I can add a personal story to my brother's wedding. One aspect I really enjoyed about it was that I got to perform dance with all my friends. We were so excited about it that we prepared for it 2 weeks before the wedding. And on the wedding day, we made sure that we entertained the crowd as much as we can. So we really danced our hearts out. So in your answer, if you can come up with one story anywhere, that would give you an easy 30 to 60 seconds leeway. And that is the best way to spend time. And that is also the best way to give a good answer, because when you're telling the story, it becomes really easy to tell details rather than inventing details. So these are my 3 hacks for you, 3 sub-hacks. Now let's see how I can apply them. Here's a sample topic. Describe a journey you went on. You should include in your answer where you went on your journey, why you went to this particular place, and what did you do, and with whom, and why you enjoyed your journey. So in my 1 minute that I've gotten, I'll just answer these 4 questions on the card, on the rough sheet, with small 1 line or half a line, just to give me a reference. So things like where you went on your journey. I went to Australia with my girlfriend. All right, that's a good enough planning. Why you went to this particular place. I always wanted to see Australia, and I've heard stories from my friends. Okay. What did you do and with whom? I went to see a lot of different places like Opera House, Queen Victoria Market, and I was with my girlfriend. Okay. Why you enjoyed your journey? We enjoyed because it was a beautiful country. So this is something like how your 1 minute should go. You should have a quick answer to each of these four questions in 1 minute in bad handwriting. So when your time starts, you start inventing details. But keep looking at your cards for reference. That's fine. You look at your card, you see your answer, where you went on your journey, and then you look up to the examiner and you say, I would like to tell you about a journey I went on a year ago. My girlfriend and I took a trip to Australia. You see, I've just created some details about a year ago, and I have also given a reference like I would like to tell you about a journey. So, this is how I'm now spending time. Then, why you went to this particular place was the second prompt. And I said that both of us wanted to visit Australia very much because we saw pictures and heard stories from our friends about how beautiful and wonderful it is. So finally, we bought the plane tickets, booked a hotel, packed our bags, and our trip began. This one line here, last line, I've just given kind of a quick story there. You know, a story always has a sequence of events. So I've just given a sequence of events. And it's easy to give that because that's how we usually operate. We book tickets, then hotel, then we pack our bags, and we begin our trip. What did you do and with whom? This was easier to answer because there's you can always say a lot of things to do. So I'll say something like we spent a lot of time before our holiday in research of all the interesting places to visit and all the sites to see. So we went to and then you keep listing things. Opera House, Queen Victoria Market, took a romantic sunset cruise in the water channels, drove to Great Ocean Road, visited Cheese Farm. Every evening we took long walks along the channels, resting in small gardens, which Australia has a lot. Street artists were performing everywhere, especially in Melbourne, and a lot of people came to watch their show. This might seem very difficult to you if you are inventing details, but it's always easy to give something that you have experienced in the past. Because I have already experienced these places, it was easy for me to create all these details. Lastly, why you enjoyed your journey? I'll answer something like, we enjoyed very much because we did everything we wanted to, and especially being together in such a beautiful country. Having my girlfriend by my side on this trip made it even more fun. So this is my 1.5 to 2 minutes answer, which is not a speech on a topic. Instead, it is answering each of the prompts separately using the subhacks that I gave you for part 2 and using the fundamental hacks to keep easy vocabulary, short sentences, telling, not speaking, using tonality, and so on.